Welcome to the Daily Bolster. Each day we welcome transformational executives to share their real-world experiences and practical advice about scaling yourself, your team, and your business.
Welcome to the Daily Bolster. I'm Matt Blumberg, the co-founder and CEO of Bolster, and I'm here today with my friend Carolyn Everson. Carolyn is a longtime media and sales executive, including a long run leading a pretty substantial part of Facebook's ad sales group. And she's a board member today at Disney, Coca-Cola, and Under Armour, which is just tremendous. Carolyn, welcome to the Daily Bolster.
Thank you for having me, Matt. It's great to be here.
All right, so you've told me before that one of your favorite business quotes is Peter Drucker's famous quote that culture eats strategy for breakfast, which is a quote that I love, although sometimes I hear it as lunch and sometimes I hear it as breakfast. It probably doesn't matter. But I'm curious, what's the reason? Like, why is that one of your go-tos?
I think comes down to the fact that I have been in operating roles for a little over 30 years, went to business school, and you feel like you get all of this experience and education, and they teach you all types of things about strategy and finance and all of the topics that you need to run a business. But at the end of the day, companies are made up of human beings. And human beings are incredible, incredible creatures with all sorts of emotions, with dreams, with fears, with ambition. And at the end of the day, I think a leader's job, the most important job, is to create a company that has an incredibly healthy culture so that your people can thrive. They can perform better than they ever imagined. They can achieve things that they didn't know were possible. And the data is very clear that healthier organizations, as defined by mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional health, outperform those that of cultures that are less healthy. And I think people don't often pay enough attention to the most simple fact, which is companies are made up of human beings.
I totally agree. I always used to say at Return Path that we had a good business. We didn't have a great business, but we had a good business, and we built a big company around it. But that the reason the business survived when times were not good, and every business has times that are not good, the reason the business survived is that we actually had built a great company and a great culture. So I totally buy into that. But let me ask you a follow-up question, though, which is, how do you think about the culture of the organization as opposed to the culture of the leadership team? And do you think that that the statement still holds that culture is dominant in the leadership team, not just the whole company?
Well, I think I can give you a personal example. When I was at Facebook leading the business teams there, I was there for a decade and a half. I remember when Mark hired me, he said, "You might think your job is to build the business and grow revenue, but actually your most important job is going to be to hire people better than you." No one had ever told me that in my career. I think, in fact, many large companies probably behavior is the opposite, because it's about building up fiefdoms and knowledge is power. And it was completely the reverse that Mark was sharing his wisdom with me. And by bringing a leadership team together that was stronger individually than any one person, collectively, we built and invested a lot of time in building trust with each other, understanding where we could help each other. So when we had to make very tough decisions on resource allocation, there was just an underlying understanding, and it allowed us to move, as I said, very, very agile and quickly. And I think that sets the tone for the whole organization. When they see a leadership team that's in sync, that is collaborating, that is genuinely excited to, praise others and give credit and accept responsibility, even, when it may not be just one team's responsibility. When they see those behaviors in leaders, I think it translates directly into the organization. I don't think you can have a healthy culture of a company without the leadership team setting the tone.
And there we have our pull quote from the episode. Carolyn, thank you so much for being here.